I understand that this was the question I had from Maria, that you were mostly interested in how to get funding, and I can understand that. I've been in science myself many years ago. But I also want to say a few words on how the DigitalLife initiative and the standing of the DigitalLife initiative at the Research Council, and a little bit about the context of this initiative, so we see it in a slightly broader context. Let me see. Start off really broad, just to say, to get a glimpse of what is biotechnology in Norway. About 4,000 to 5,000 million Norwegian krones, about 10% or a little less of the total R&D that is being executed in Norway. With respect to the funding, it's high public funding compared to other areas. Medicine is by far the largest area and is about 60% of the totality. Marine around 20% and the other lower. The publication, the output is good. About also 10% of the total, really good quality, above average. This index means 64% above the world average in this field. And it is especially strong. This is based on a NIFU report that is being produced every second year. Especially strong in biotech is the research that is using biotechnology more than the research that is developing new technologies. If you look at the Research Council, we have a portfolio of budget of around 1 billion a year, so we are about 20% of the total expenditures. This is divided in more than 600 projects. And although I say we, I'm the coordinator of the Biotech program, but the Biotech program has had, this year is 2016, I think, about 200 million. This is again only 20% of the Research Council. So we are 20% of the Research Council, the Research Council is about 20% of the national. So it's not, and this is the biotech as a whole. Let me also then add that of the biotech budget, I would say about a third to 50% is in DigitalLife. The others are other activities. I'll come slightly back to that. So in order to understand why we invest in DigitalLife Norway, I want to say a little bit of who we are at the Biotech program and what we do. Our primary objective is, as the national funding program in biotechnology, is to support biotechnology that contributes to innovation and value creation linked to solving societal challenges in a responsible manner. So it's really quite composite. I don't show the secondary objective, but these take specifically on the scientific excellence, on innovation, on addressing societal challenges and responsible research and innovation. And I think we can recognize quite our ambitions as being quite similar to the ambition of the DigitalLife Norway. So we have put a lot of our eggs in the DigitalLife basket, so to say. The total budget is about 160 million, mainly about half from the Ministry of Research and Higher Education, and also quite a lot from the Ministry of Industry and Fisheries. And from this year, also a small from the Ministry of Agriculture and Food, linked to the bioeconomy. So that says something about who funds us and what their expectations in our profile. We were originally planned as a 10-year program and should end in 2021, hence our name. But we don't longer have a fixed date for ending, so we will be around for a while. probably. Also like to mention that we revised our program plan late last year, so we have a, if not a new, so a revised program plan. Our priorities are these four. The DigitalLife Convergence for Innovation, that is our main strategic initiative. We also have established optimization projects and this arrangement to support proof of principle studies that we didn't have in Norway before and was not a funding instrument outside this program. Now it's being assimilated in the regular, like a regular funding instrument at the Research Council from next year, I think. Responsible research and innovation goes across everything we do at the program. And international collaboration is the fourth priority. Also illustrated in the figure to the right here. Very briefly, I don't have a lot of time to go into it, but why we established DigitalLife Norway, we have to go back to actually the first year of the program in 2012, where a discussion in the board, where we really discussed what should be the level of ambition for the program. What did the program want to leave behind, achieve in this world? So from that discussion, we came out of a 10-year effort with functional genomic, the FUGI program, and that we needed to support the computational aspects of biotechnology was obvious and needs no further explanation. But at the same time, it was the societal challenges and the grand societal challenges following the Lund Declaration in 2009 had really put the societal challenges much higher on the agenda than in the past. So that also represented an important input to the program and to the DigitalLife initiative. And also an area that requires, the societal challenges are extremely complex and need broad collaboration in order to be attacked. So both the first, was about collaboration to support interdisciplinarity with the computational. The next was also very much rigged at having a broad collaboration to attack the grand societal challenges. Third, we're looking at the horizon of what was the emerging fields. It was, of course, all about systems biology, synthetic biology in different forms. And it was a lot of discussion on whether we should have a systems biology effort, etc., etc. And again, these are very interdisciplinary areas. So this is like the common theme. And so we saw the need in Norway due to, the UK have 13 centers in systems biology or something. We have to think a little differently because of scale. So we say that it's not so important whether it's systems or synthetic biology, but we need to rig broad collaboration based on technology convergence to create values for Norway. This was like the overarching theme. Last but not least, it was in dialogue with the institutional strategies, where all the institutions, the major research institutions had ongoing policy activities aimed in the same direction, which was very important for the outcome and which really played an important role in forming the DigitalLife strategy. So why is it important? So now we leap to today. A lot of things have happened. At this time, we didn't think about the DigitalLife Norway Center. It was an initiative with a lot of components in it that we could do. we are about 5 years down the road. We have established the center 2 years ago. And why is it important for us now and for the future? As I said, it's a highly strategic effort, a very change-oriented. As Trygve, the center leader, opened the conference yesterday by saying transforming the landscape, the Norwegian biotech landscape. So that means we want something very specific. This is not business as usual, and this makes it highly strategic for us and very important to see a good development of this initiative. It's a national institutional network. I think we have to stop and think about this because this is a unique construction, really unique construction both nationally and also internationally to have in an area. And a potentially extremely powerful tool if we can make this function. This is really an instrument for national collaboration. And I want to, and this really refers to the networking part, the network project of the center. Of course, we get most of the funding, as also Trygve mentioned, goes to the research. But we have a lot of research projects. But this is the network project is really the unique construction and the unique part of the center. It's important to us because it meets, as I already alluded to, the full range of aims of the biotech program. So we can't succeed without the success of the DigitalLife Norway. 2 minutes, right? So maybe I don't have the time to speak about the funding, but that's fine. It's very important to us because it is a policy experiment for us. It's something new. It's not something, the whole construction of it, the whole planning, the whole how it came about, how it was evaluated, the center structure. This is not a regular instrument at the Research Council. So this is our way of experimenting, like you are experimenting in the lab. And that also makes it especially important for us. It's a large investment. And it has a lot of political attention and impact beyond biotech as well. We recently exactly this network, this national network. I don't have the time to say a lot about it. We have a request from the Ministry of Climate and so on. We said, I've heard that you are doing something interesting. You are forming a network. Maybe we are thinking about doing something similar. So this is creating attention in the ministry and in other areas. So, very briefly, we are planning, I think it's relatively known already, we are planning a new call. We have promised it already a year ago, but it had to be then postponed. We are discussing how, so I can't really say a lot, but I can say that we'll have a board decision late April, and we'll announce the outcome of that immediately after. But the deadline will be in the autumn, probably in September. It will probably be some changes, but you will probably also recognize from previous calls. Quite similar, but it's hard to say exactly now. There are also other calls, and I'll be very quick about them. In industrial biotech, bioeconomy, there is a call across the biotech program, Havbruk, Bionær, etc., energy program. That will be out, I think, today, will be announced. Quite similar, we had a quite similar call last autumn. So please look at that. That should be extremely relevant for those of you who work in that area. And also a new call in the autumn in the Aeronet, in the co-biotech Aeronet, in industrial biotech. Previous calls have been at higher technology readiness level, but this will be at slightly lower and should be extremely relevant to many, I think. If you work in the health and personalized medicine area, there is collaboration between the Research Council, Vinnova, Tekes, Innovasjonsfonden, the different innovation actors in the Nordic countries to support implementation of personalized medicine. That will be out also very soon. So if that is relevant, please be aware of that. And a new call-in area, courses in systems medicine, ARANET in the autumn. That is scheduled. So I feel I'm a bit over time. Extremely quickly about some recommendation. Please develop consortium early, and I'm thinking about DigitalLife especially to us. The competence according to the has to be put together according to the challenge you are addressing, but always should be a bio component, an RRI, and computational. Please remember it's innovation-oriented projects addressing a challenge and not basic research. So it's not within a science for science kind of logic. Try to make highly integrated projects with all, there's not independent working group and partners doing their things, but they really need to work together in order to make a successful project. This is something that the evaluation panel is looking at. Okay. A good governance structure. This is very important, reflecting ROI principles, so that we can really demonstrate that not only something you write in ROI someplace, but that you can really see that the stakeholders have an impact on the trajectory of the project and how this plays out. And not least, a solid implementation plan. I would say something, this is really the tangible and not a high flyer thing in the proposals, but this is what makes a difference, has made the difference between those who got a high grade and had money and not. So please be aware. We have people from industry in the evaluation panel. They're broad panels, but people from industry, they're very strict on implementation. They don't like to invest in some fluffy, excellent ideas without a good implementation plan. So thank you. I guess we don't have time for any questions, but...
I don't think we have time for questions, I'm afraid, but we have time to give you this present, which I think ultimately you have paid for through the funding of DigitalLife. So thank you very much.